What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and today's video is all about how to choose the best build for your game. And it all depends on how you enjoy playing the game. Most of you know if you've been at this channel for a while. Though when I put a build together, in my mind, I'm putting builds together for new and returning players, people who are casual gamers like myself. I do get a lot of questions at the channel, so I wanted to just do a quick video trying to answer as many as I can. Now, if you happen to enjoy this video, do me a favor really quick and hit that like button. We have a 300 like goal per video. You can feel free to subscribe or join as well, and we do have giveaways here. Our current one is for an Xbox Series S. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced December 31st of this year. So in this video, I'll be highlighting two builds that I recently put out, and I will leave a link to those builds in the description down below. The first one is a legendary tank build you can see here. The second one is a legendary skill build, which I love to use as well. Now, if you've seen any of my previous build videos, you know that I see a few things in every single video. First of all is, just remember this is a template. The most important thing is to truly take your time and make a build your own. And the second thing is that you really want to take your time and cater a build towards your game style, but that's only right half the time. And look, what I mean is this: anytime you're putting a build together, you need to think of one of two things. Are you putting something together for your build style, or are you going to put together a brand new build you haven't tried before? And depending what you're doing, that is going to completely tweak your gameplay. So we're going to start off with talking about those of you that want to truly put together a build based on your game style. For instance, you only like just doing run and guns, DPS builds, whatever it is. And when you're doing that, you need to pick the proper gear accordingly, because if you jump into a legendary fray and you're just using glass cannon and you don't have a shield or whatever it is, you're not going to be able to do certain things that you see on the screen from other builds. So that's when you want to really make sure you're focusing on your gear in regard to your gameplay, because if you don't, it's not going to work at all. I mean, I see certain content creators put out legendary DPS builds, and it's amazing, and that's because of their game style. And for me, when I try to do that, it takes me a long time to really get the pattern down, because I'm used to playing differently because of the builds I like to use. So remember, when you're catering your game style, you always want to make sure you're using the gear that amplifies your style of gameplay. So for me, you've seen 1,000 videos I've done, or maybe not 1,000 because I haven't made 1,000 videos, but whatever. The point is, you've seen in a lot of my Division videos, I'm running Hunter's Fury, Memento Backpack, Scorpio Shotgun. That suits me. That's my wheelhouse. I love that. So I would say a good 60% of my own gameplay, that is my go-to build when I'm doing various things in the open world, whether it's control points or missions or bounties or, farming named enemies, whatever it is, because I know how that build works. I know the timing, so for me, it's incredibly efficient. Which now brings me to talking about builds and how to cater your game style around them. And one thing I want to mention, and I cannot remember the name of the person who made this comment in one of my videos, but they said, hey, you know what, you always say cater a build to your game style, but one of the things that really makes this game shine, which is true, is catering your game style around a build. And I wanted to jump into that. I cannot remember who sent me that message. You were the driving force behind this video, so once again, I thank you all for your support. Now we're going to start this off by my going back to when Hunter's Fury and the Scorpio Shotgun, first came out. And for me, up until that point, I was never a run and gun player at all. I mean, it took me a while. Usually I was just one of those mid-ranged players. I stayed in cover sometimes. I was using an assault rifle and a rifle as well. Most of the talents on them had to do with range or something like that. But I would never be at the very front of the fray. I wouldn't be at the very back either, because I didn't use sniper rifles that often as well. Now, when Hunter's Fury was released, it looked like such a fun set. I mean, it was amazing. So I was like, you know what? Here we go. I'm going to jump in it. And I tried to use my normal gameplay with that gear set, and I was completely decimated. Like, I could not stand a chance. And the reason I bring that up is that is an example of needing to completely change your game style when you're working with a certain build. I could never speedrun Lincoln Memorial. I'm able to do that now. There were so many things that changed when I actually really catered my gameplay around a build. And as I said a moment ago, in my opinion, that's where this game really shines, when you actually focus on what you're supposed to be doing with the gear you're actually wearing. That is when you're actually going to get the results you want from your build. And look, it's a hard pattern to break. Like I said, I have to get used to to using different weapons now. I've been running Scorpio so long, it's like I try to use an assault rifle, I'm hitting the wall, I'm hitting everything but the NPC. So for me, really taking the time focusing on my gameplay around a build, that's what makes the game fun, and it completely changes it up. You know, if we go back to, let's say, the Reanimated Global event, which by the way is now my second favorite one behind Golden Bullet, and that's because during that event, all I use is a sniper rifle, and when you take out the NPCs with that second shot and you see that puff of green smoke, it is just so much fun just to one-tap enemies in the dome with that event. So once again, anytime you're putting a build together moving forward, my friends, really think about those two questions. Is this catering towards my game style, or do I need to cater my game style towards the build? And once you do that, you'll see much better results. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. With all that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this up. Now, I wanted to put this video out now because I'm going to be putting together a lot of build videos in the coming weeks. As we roll into season 11, there's going to be a lot of different stuff. We're getting changes to the Picara's holster. There are so many different things we can look forward to. And the other reason is because you'll hear people say there's only one way to run something, and that is completely untrue. Maybe statistically you get a higher rate of X, Y, or Z when you're doing something this way. But as far as the enjoyment of a build, that is completely based on the user. It doesn't matter. You know, I'll throw together builds that say I don't use the Memento backpack and it's a run and gun build, and I'll get comments saying, hey, why don't you use the Memento? And it's because I'm using something different. Some people don't have the Memento, some people do, but I like to show you variations, and if there are any builds you want to see that I haven't put together as yet, please let me know. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.